That ain't bad right there. One pow, one pow, one pow. Welcome back to part 2. Let me show you how I'm going to modify the frame on this go-kart. First, I determined where I wanted my seat. Oh, man! Whew. That ain't bad. Steering wheel needs to be moved up. And this is the angle iron it was bolted to. And you can see it was slotted. You know, you can move back and forth. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to extend this angle iron on back, I don't know, somewhere right here maybe. And I will slot it so I can adjust it, you know, in case somebody a little taller or a little shorter wants to ride it. There will be no kids riding it, by the way. And this motor plate's got to go. I want to cut these axles off right here. Do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to cut this bar off probably. I don't know, I may leave it. I'll just have to wait and see, get the motor off of the motorcycle, get it up here and see where my mounts are going to be. But I'm probably going to cut it off here. Same thing over there. It's reinforced under here with this little bar. And I'll probably leave that or take that off and reinforce it with something else. So let's get started getting that stuff done. Alrighty. Missed the weld. Well, I got the motor plate off, and that's where the seat is going to go. So I got to get some more angle iron. I'm going to bring it all the way back to here, weld it to there, put some slots in it, and it'll be ready to go. I think I'm going to leave this part on for now until I get that motor off of that motorcycle and get it set up here. Because it may have to be that wide. I don't really know yet. So I think tomorrow I will go ahead and get this angle iron, and then I'm just going to buy several feet of this and this just in case I need them. There's just a little bit of the original color showing through right there. It was blue, and then I painted the frame black with gold wheels, and I painted the motor black and touched up all the bolt heads as gold. It was sharp looking, I'm telling you. And then it got painted red over the years. But I had it looking sharp when I had it. I just saw something that I completely forgot about. See that hole right there? I put that in there when I was a kid. I had intentions of putting a rear suspension on this go-kart, and that was going to be the bracket where the lower control arm was going to mount. And I had 2 shocks off an old motorcycle, and I pretty much had every piece of it made except for an axle. I think that's what kept me from doing it. Is either I couldn't figure that out or just didn't have the money to buy an axle. But I completely forgot all about that. Just got back from town, got all my steel that I need. I think I'm gonna cut the angle iron and slot it first for the seat. Oh, the axle come in, let me show you that. There it is. It's 1 inch. It steps down to 3/4 on the end. Got a keyway here and a keyway here. I don't know what I'm gonna do about hubs yet. I ain't figured that out. May have to buy them. I'll just have to wait and see what kind of wheels I've got that I'm gonna use on it. Anyway, let me get this angle iron cut up. If y'all are wondering what that squealing noise is when I'm over here at my parents working, well, it's this windmill right here. When it spins around, the vane spins it around, it squalls, just like that right there. It needs some grease on it. And yes, it is charging. Right there in that box. Where is it at? Right there. Let's just walk out there and I'll show you. There ain't a whole lot in here. I put that lawnmower battery in here. There's the charge controller. And here's a little meter that keeps up with what it's doing. And it has done 16 kilowatts in, probably 10 months. That's not bad. Daddy used to fool with these things all the time, ever since I was a kid. But it burned up his charge controller, so he just quit on it, I don't know, probably 6, 8 years ago. But I got that light right there. It comes on at night. It's like a 200 watt equivalent LED. And it does good enough to keep that battery charged to run that light all night. I've decided not to slot this angle iron for the seat, and here's why. That motor's got 50 horsepower. That's quite a bit for this little go-kart. Then you put a fat boy like me in this seat and slam that 250 pounds against the back of this seat, I'm afraid it'll break the top of that slot out. So I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to add a bolt, because there's only one bolt on each side. So I'm going to add another bolt to each side of the seat, and maybe the fat boy won't break the seat. Well, what in the devil? I don't know how to sharpen bits, I guess. The seat is done. Got both bolts in either side. Got the angle iron welded up. I don't believe a fat boy's gonna break that off. Now, I guess I'm gonna have to get the motor off that frame, get this down on the ground, and start positioning that motor where it's going to go and figure out where I'm going to weld all my braces and mounts and all of that. Hang your booty on out. Ain't time to fool you. Yeah. Baby. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah. There it is. Well, I got the motor out of the frame and I got everything sort of mocked up. What do you think? It's starting to look like a top fuel dragster a little bit. This is pretty close to being where everything is going to be. Let me grab this here. I'm using the pillow block bearings, and that's going to be pretty close to where that's going to be. It may drop down, the frame may drop down a little bit, but that's just minor details. This one here is a big detail. If I leave this axle here, there's no way I can get the chain on this sprocket because it's going to hit probably right here. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that unless I just come out here with like a jack shaft and then go down with another chain. I'm gonna have to think about this tonight and figure out what I'm gonna do. But that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna use those tires or wheels. I just found them and using them for mock-up, but that's pretty close to the stance it's gonna have. Anyway, I'm gonna think on it tonight and figure out how I'm gonna do this back end. And the exhaust, I sort of like that exhaust like that. It gives it a top fuel dragster look, sort of. And, well, I mean, I can do whatever I want to with exhaust. Anyway, I'm gonna think on it tonight and figure out exactly what I'm gonna do on that back end. Let me show you the back end and what I plan on doing with it. There's gonna be square tubing is what I'm using because they didn't have any 1-inch round tubing. There's gonna be a piece of square tubing come from here all the way back to the pillow block bearing right there. I'll go 2 or 3 inches past the pillow block bearing. Do that on both sides. Then of course there'll be a piece, you know, going across the back. Then I don't know if I can get down here to see the motor mounts. Where are you at? There's one right there, and there's one right there. All I'm going to do is come across with a bar underneath this motor mount and that motor mount, then have 2 tabs sticking up to run the bolts through, you know, to mount it. And then on the sprocket I'm going to have to do jack shaft, and it'll probably mount right here, come up, over, down on this one. Of course the shaft will be here, and then there'll be another sprocket right here. That's how I'm planning on doing it. It may change, but I believe if I get busy I may have a roller by this evening. Well, I got part of the frame welded up. Man, that sucker sure is long hanging off the back there. I just hope my little brace in there is going to be good enough. What I got to do next is weld me a piece across here for that motor mount. And then there's one right there. I got to run a piece across there. And I think I'm probably going to put one in the front too. There's one in the back, but I ain't think I'm going to fool with it because I think it'll be away the sprocket and I just can't go fool with it. So I think I'll do that one there. And then the axle, I ain't sure exactly where it's going to go, but that's probably pretty close. But I forgot that I don't have the hubs for the axles. I don't even have wheels, so there ain't no way it's going to be a roller tonight. I think I may reuse these wheels, just weld those holes up and re-drill the right pattern. I don't know. I'm going to look and see tonight how much they are. If they're not a lot, I'll just go ahead and buy some. Make it a lot easier on me. But let me get these cross pieces in, and then I guess I'll start working on the jack shaft next. All right, I got me a couple of motor mounts made for that back bar, the back mount. So let me get them tacked on real quick. lose it. Fixing to lose it. Well, I got the back motor mount done anyway. Still got to do the front one in the bottom, and then do this one here up front. Anyway, I think I'm gonna be done for tonight. I'm gonna go home and figure out my final drive ratio, see what kind of sprocket, what size sprocket I'm gonna get, figure out what tire size I'm gonna use. So for now, peace out. Well, I was looking it over right before I went home, and let me show you this. She's got a pretty good bounce to her. I'll have to do something about that. I may have to go ahead and build a roll cage of some kind to help stiffen it up. Well, I'm back for another day of go-kart modifying, and if my maths are correct, then I figured out the sprockets I need last night to keep the pretty much the same gearing as the motorcycle has. Using 18-inch tires, I need 12 tooth and an 18 tooth sprocket for the jack shaft. This is using the stock sprocket on that motor and the stock one that's on the back wheel of the motorcycle. So that means well, I need to get that sprocket off and make sure it'll fit a store-bought hub for the sprocket, and then if it will, then I'll have to buy a hub for the sprocket. If not, I'll have to make one. Anyway, I think we'll go ahead and keep mounting this motor. I got 2 more pieces to go across, and then, you know, make my little motor mount tabs for it. So let me get started on that. They got me a little bit. Oh my gosh! Alright, change of plans. I got these 2 motor mounts done, and I wanted to use this one too, and I was just going to put another piece across here and then come up to here. Well, I think it'd be better to go from here to here, and that'll help stiffen up this whole frame too, take some of the bounce out of it maybe. So I think that's what I'm going to do. How can you lose a tool? Do they grow legs and walk away? Oh, there it is. Alright, I got one of them made. It goes in just like that right there. Got my little notch cut out down here. And when you put a bolt through tubing of any kind, square, round, whatever, it's going to squish when you tighten the bolt up. Then it'll work the bolt loose. You'll tighten it up, it'll squish more. The bolt will work loose, you'll tighten it up, squish more, and on and on. Well, to avoid that, I put a piece of this here in here. Now we ain't gonna have no crushing issues at all. So let me get another one of these made, and then we'll get them welded in. I'm gonna do a before and after on the bounce to see if this helps it out any. And here's the after. That stiffened it up quite a bit. Like I said, I may still put a hoop and a couple of bars going down. I'll just have to see. Well, we've got a motor mounted now. I'm just sitting here looking at the exhaust, trying to figure out which way I want to do it. The one on the right gives it sort of a nostalgia, old school top fuel look, but I like the one on the left too, so I don't know. Anyway, I guess what's next is I'm waiting on sprockets for my jack shaft, and I got to get the rear sprocket off this motorcycle, see if I can use it. My hubs should be here today, and I think I'm going to go ahead and buy 2 wheels instead of re-drilling them. I found some for about $25 a piece. I'm spending more than I intended to on this little project here. I like to keep costs cheap, but sometimes you just have to do it. So anyway, oh, also I've decided instead of using these pillow block bearings, I'm going to use flange mount, side mount, whatever you want to call them, because these right here, you know, this ain't but 1 inch tubing. Drilling a hole in it, and I just don't like the idea of that. So I'm gonna get me a thick plate, you know, like 1/2 inch or so, weld it down here, and then bolt that flange to it, and use these on the jack shaft maybe. I think it'll be a lot better. We're making progress. Still got a lot of stuff to do though. Got to do jack shaft. Got to do mount axles, mount a caliper bracket, get the sprocket on, wheels, tires, gas pedal cable, clutch cable, brake pedal, maybe roll cage, all the electrical, gas tank, and we got to get the thing running right too. We got a bunch still to do. So that'll wind this video up. As always, appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button so you know when part 3 is coming out. Hit the like button too. That'll help the channel out. And until next time, go do something.